But let's just spend a minute on the Fox termination because it was such a huge story. We covered it for months here on this show, as you know. And I've heard you talk about it in other forums, but you and I have got to have this discussion. First of all, how are you doing? Here we are, 7 months after it happened? You seem better than ever. You seem very excited about the new adventure. When it first happened, though, you were reeling. And there's that moment of like finding your footing, like, wait, what does this mean for me?
Well, actually, I mean, I'm great. I've been happy pretty much the whole time. Was obviously surprised. I wasn't expecting it at all. But I also felt, and I expressed this in the conversation I had when I got the news, kind of not my company. And I served at the pleasure. And I always knew that. And I've been in the business since I was in my 20s. I'm now 54, so that's a long time. And I knew that this is kind of how the end comes. Very few people leave voluntarily. In fact, you're one of the only people I've ever met who made it to the top and then left. That's not the course of events for most people in TV. Like you're going along and then bam, there's some massive scandal and they can't. So I actually felt like I got out pretty well. I mean, I didn't do anything bad other than have, naughty opinions, but I didn't commit any crimes. I didn't harass anybody. So I actually felt pretty good about it. I was shocked for like the first 8 minutes. And then I called my wife. She was thrilled. And then, our staff came with us. So I wound up living and working with the same people that I had been with for the, previous number of years. And I love them. It was great.
That was such a blessing.
We got to go travel.
That was such a blessing, Tucker. I mean, and it's such a credit to you because your staff does not follow you if they don't love you. And of course, Fox had no love for them either, I'm sure, but it was a testament to you, and they're still with you, helping you in the new venture.
Well, they were the best people there. That was the weird part. I mean, they were literally the best people there. Much more. I've never been particularly knowledgeable about or good at TV. I just sort of stare at a camera and say what I think. But these are people who really understand television and were super smart, loyal, and every single one of them is a good person. All of them stay at my house all the time. I mean, they're like friends. So yes, that was amazing for me.
But what's amazing about the departure from Fox is, yes, you do serve at the pleasure of, the Murdochs, of course. But unlike, and I know you sort of laughed about having been fired from all these other networks because you've been in the business for a long time, but you were succeeding. They don't normally fire you when you're at the top of your game, when you are the ratings king, right. When you're making news. You had just had a huge interview with Elon Musk. You had just done Kanye. I mean, you've been making huge news and you were the most relevant thing on Fox. That's unusual. I mean, that's why everybody was like, what? It wasn't like low-rated show on whatever network. This was a powerhouse that they ended what felt to most of us like clear out of the blue.
Well, I mean, I should just say at what I've said before, which is I sincerely don't know why they canceled the show, and I would absolutely say so if I did know, because I want to be as honest as I can be, but I don't. But you could flip it around if you were speculating and imagine that maybe being the top show is not a strength, but potentially a weakness. Maybe that's a problem if you're saying things, that people don't like, and who knows who those people are. But if they're unpopular, power than you do, and you have a big audience, it's not the top rated show. If you're like languishing at 2 p.m. on the weekends and you've got naughty thoughts, like they can put up with it. But if you have, a much larger audience, then they're hearing about it a lot. And it really is like one of those mysteries that I'll probably never get to the bottom of. And I've stopped even thinking about it. But, it could be a lot of different things. I had a lot of different opinions that some people didn't like. And I should say Fox never tried to tell me what to say, and I wouldn't have put up with it for a minute anyway, but they didn't. And good for them. But, it could have been, I had heterodox views on Ukraine. I had heterodox views on the COVID vaccine, immigration, January 6th. As you said, I interviewed Kanye. I interviewed Trump. I interviewed Elon. I mean, who knows who you offend? And I guess the only thing I would say is it's not even aimed at Fox, really. It's kind of aimed at the many other people, some of whom are actually loathsome, particularly in politics, who were complaining, not to my face, everyone's got my text, everyone on the planet has my text. So you can always text me or call me or say, I think you're awful, I disagree with you on this and here's why. But rather than do that, they took this much more feline, stealthy, and dishonorable approach, which is, bitch to your boss. And those are the people, and I can imagine a couple of them were, and they're exactly the people you would imagine, Mitch McConnell or that weird guy from Wisconsin who was speaker for a while, people like that, they, instead of saying it to my face, I think, went to others. And I don't respect that at all. I mean, I really don't.
Paul Ryan, and he was on the Fox board, so definitely had the ear. And as we understand it, was not a fan. But, that's what happens when you make it to the top of cable news primetime. You have a lot of detractors and you have a lot of fans.
Yeah, but can I just say one thing? If you don't like somebody, Megyn, and I know you pretty well, if you don't like somebody, you say things like, hey, I don't like you. And here's why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're pretty straightforward about what you think. And first of all, there's freedom in that and there's dignity in that. You're not lying to somebody's face. And that's what bothers me on a human level, is if you don't like what I think, say it to me. But they never will because they're cowards.
Mm-hmm. This is the thing that bothered me about the whole thing, Tucker. You're right. It's a brutal, toxic business, and anybody can be axed for whatever reason at any time. But the disrespect they showed to the audience, and in my view, to you, in not giving you an answer, a reason, was unforgivable. You're nicer than I am, which I think most people would say. You're way nicer than I am. I'm still pissed off about it. It was so wrong. You didn't get a reason. Your wife, Susie, didn't get a reason. Your family didn't get a reason. And then they spent weeks in the press trying to disparage you. I'm bitter about it. You're not bitter. I'm bitter on your behalf. You've always been this happy warrior. It's funny you say that because
I was mad at NBC when they called you a racist for talking about Halloween costumes. It's like, what? And of course, they called me a racist too, but I'm not a racist. That's the thing. And I do have weaknesses. I definitely have a weakness for Oreos and related Nabisco products, and that's sort of obvious to everybody. And there are definitely things that I've been wrong about some things in a public way, and you could say that. But calling me a racist, I was like, yeah, I'm a racist. Okay. I mean, it's just so dumb, and it didn't even bother me. And I don't think at this point, that's a meaningful attack when it's untrue, and it's pretty clear that it is untrue. So I don't really care. And I feel happy, and I feel liberated, and I wouldn't want to be in that business. And I did my turn as you did. I spent decades in that business, and I'm 54. It's like, what are you going to be in cable news till you're 74? I don't think so. Right. And there's so much other interesting stuff to do that you can't really be mad. On what grounds could I be mad? I don't know. Some corporate person didn't like me. Well, I don't like corporate people. So we're even.
Debt. You can go to bed thinking about it. You can wake up thinking about it. It can haunt you throughout the day. High interest credit cards and loans make it nearly impossible to pay off your debt. And insane inflation keeps you stuck paycheck to paycheck. The system traps you in debt. Donewithdebt.com can be a lifeline. The lifeline of a lifetime. I've talked about my own experience with debt in the past, so believe me, I know what it feels like. It's been a while, but I remember very well. Donewithdebt.com has a new strategy to help erase your debt faster and easier than you ever thought possible. And here's what they can do for you. Analyze all the debt options you qualify for, minimize interest rates, cut medical bills, and reduce debt without bankruptcy and without a loan. But you need to hurry. Some debt solutions are time sensitive. Go to donewithdebt.com, find out how easy they make it, and find out if it's right for you. Donewithdebt.com, donewithdebt.com. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.